Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Celia's recovered from her cold, so she'd like to introduce you to James Anderson and episode 2. At the end of the last episode, I said our man was about to give away the fact that we'd spoken to him before, and here it comes. And you can see that our old friend Lewis Brown had exactly the same concerns back in May. "Okay," he said. "So, please tell me more about yourself. What are your habits? Do you smoke, drink, flirt, and party all the time, etc.?" "Perhaps you should come to Durham so we can meet," said Celia, continuing the previous conversation, "or I could come to Dublin." Then she read what he'd just typed. "I beg your pardon. I just read your last message. How very rude. How dare you ask me those questions?" "I mean no harm," he said. "Oh, yes, you did," said Celia. "That was the most extremely rude message I've been sent in a long time." I wonder how many other people the scammers have sent this message to in the interim, and how many people just answer them. Because if somebody asked the real me that, in real life, because they wanted a relationship, they'd be lucky to survive with all their teeth intact. And no, I don't believe in physical violence, but, you know, sometimes a girl can be tempted. And fair warning for the next bit. If you're eating or drinking, and you haven't already choked on what you're eating or drinking, or worse still, spat it out all over your device's keyboard, I suggest you swallow now. "I'm sorry about that," he said. "You'd better be," said Celia. "So, what are you doing now?" asked our hapless scammer. "Running round the living room, chasing 3 rats and a toad," said Celia. "What are you doing now?" "I've just done my paperwork," he said. Having apologised for digging himself into one extremely rude hole, our man thought he'd continue. I'm sure you know the first rule of holes. When you're in one, stop digging. But apparently nobody's told our man that. Celia asked him when he thought he could come to Durham, and he told her that it would be a few weeks. "Not long," she said. "Yes," he said. "I see. All I need in a woman is a care, trust, understanding, sincerity, faithfulness, and respect in other for us to spend the rest of our lives together and happily. I also value the sense of humour in a woman. What interests you in a man?" "I like a man who treats a woman with respect," she said. And then our man got out his spade and started digging frantically. "Well," he said, "I'm caring." Oh dear, and now I'm having another fit of those giggles. This isn't going to work. I'll go and make myself a cup of tea and come back. Fortified by a nice cup of Earl Grey, Celia's back in action. "Well," he said, "I'm caring, outspoken, humorous, understanding, passionate and cheerful. Definitely, you'll be the one to see for yourself by the time we will be together. I really don't like a dirty woman. What about you? What are the habits that you hate in a man?" "I beg your pardon?" said Celia. "LOLs," he said. "Tell me, what are the habits you hate in a man?" "You think telling me you don't like a dirty woman is funny, do you?" asked Celia. "Oh, that," he said. "It's not what you think." "It better hadn't be," said Celia. "I think you need to explain." "I mean," he did explain, "a woman who likes to make the environment around her clean." "OK," said Celia. "If I may ask," he said, "are you romantic?" "I don't know," said Celia. "You'll have to meet me to find out." And then her phone was ringing, so she disappeared for a while. But our man kept on typing, or perhaps I should say, copying and pasting. "OK," he said, "I like the way you express yourself. As for me, I'm a romantic man. I know how to make my woman contented with my love, and if I eventually love you, or you finally become my wife, I will love you with all my heart, respect you, care for you, cherish you so much, and treat you like a queen, because I'll be ready to take sacrifices in order to make you happy and be there for you." "How lovely," said Celia. "As for you, how would you treat me if I eventually became your husband?" "What's that supposed to mean?" asked Celia. "You really need to think before you type, don't you?" And then we got back to that old scammer obsession. "Can you send me a few of your photos?" "Photos of what?" asked Celia. "I have loads of photos." "Send me a nice one of you," he asked. "I already did," she said. "Don't you like it? I don't take photos of myself. I take photos of views and lakes and flowers and things. You can take a selfie, he said. If you're playing Spot the Inconsistency, I will give you a clue for the next bit. Way back at the beginning of the video, I think I told you that both of the photos she had were just headshots. You can't see anything else. I can, she said, but I'm not going to. If you don't like the one I sent, and the one on Facebook, then that's tough. LOLs, he said. I'm still watching your photos, because I like your style of dressing, and to be sincere, your beauty has captivated my soul, and your charming eyes has captured my heart. In a nutshell, you actually look amazing, and my head is going whiskey right now. Are you telling me you're an alcoholic? Said Celia. Well, he said, I was brought up in a Catholic home, but I do believe in God, but I don't go to church most time. I have no idea what that had to do with what came before. We seem to have an interesting conversation, said the man who's apparently been talking to himself for most of this video, and I hope for our communication to lead to a fruitful end. Don't you wish so too? I think we need to meet before I make any comment on our future, said Celia. I just wish we're together right now, having this conversation face to face, but nevertheless, it's just a matter of time for us to find out if we're compatible with each other, he said. Do let me know when you can come so we can meet, said Celia. All right, dear, he said. It was really nice chatting with you, and once more, it's absolutely my pleasure to chat with you today. I hope we can also chat again tomorrow, or some other time. He might live to regret saying that when tomorrow comes. The next day they started talking about food. I've missed most of it out. I've just inserted this little screenshot for those of you playing Spot the Inconsistency. Do you have to work today? Asked Celia. No, he said. It was Sunday. Guess what? He said a little later. Ooh, said Celia. Give me a clue. I used your picture as my wallpaper because you are indeed a beautiful and attractive woman. How lovely, said Celia. I just wish we're together right now, having this conversation face to face, but nevertheless, it's just a matter of time for us to find out if we're compatible with each other. Are you getting the feeling you're seeing double? We have left the past behind us, and I think all we need to do is to focus on the future, because I believe that the future is more important than the past. Do you think the same? That's a bit deep and meaningful, said Celia. Are you overtired or something? I was waiting for your message, he said. I am really glad that I met you. I am not here for endless online conversation, because I would like to meet you as soon as I retire by the end of this month time from my service. Won't you like us to meet each other? Oh dear, said Celia. You really are overtired, aren't you? Did you have a late night? We were talking about that yesterday. Have you forgotten already? Realising what he'd done, our man replied, Yes, dear. I was very tired yesterday. I don't think that anything will ever stop me from coming to meet you. I closed my eyes to sleep yesterday night, and I really wished you were beside me. Words can't fully express my feelings for you, but I'm old enough to realise that it's a fantastic feeling of wanting to be with you forever. Just let me know when you're ready to come, said Celia. I can take some time off work to show you round, but I will need a few days' notice. OK, dear, I will, he said. Having you alone in my life is enough fate and assurance that I'm on the right path of having a united, happy, peaceful and lively family. Every word that I say to you comes directly from my heart. I feel so comfortable with you, and it feels like I've known you for a decade. That's lovely, said Celia. I intend to surprise you with something special on the day of our meeting. Do you like surprises? Ooh, yes, of course, said Celia. What girl doesn't like surprises? Words, he continued, are empty when they're only spoken or written, but it becomes effective when they are expressed or put to practice. I don't want to rush things, but I can't resist telling you how I feel. Just hold on with all your might. We'll soon be together. I really miss you. I had a busy day, but the thought of you has helped me to calm down. Oh dear, Celia, why were you busy? I was busy with my paperwork, he said. You were working? asked Celia. I have to be very serious and hard-working so that I could complete my contract before the end of the month, he said. And then their relationship started to take a serious nosedive. Tell me about your son, asked Celia. You haven't said much about him. Oh, Kelvin, he said. Kelvin is friendly. He said he wanted to become a doctor, and I supported him. He can work in your new hospital, said Celia. Yes, he can. Kelvin has really missed the love of a mother since he lost his mum. I don't have time for us due to my kind of job. That's why I want to settle down with that special lady that can love my son equally, the way she loved me. I really love you, he said, not for canal gratification, but for intimacy. I will love to love you more, without no reservation, see you as my destiny, my world. Very soon we'll be together so that we can plan our future together. How exciting, said Celia. Are you going to take me to Venice? I'm ready to take you around the world, he said. We could go and see all the canals, said Celia, if that's what you want. To love me is to accept me as I am, he said. I do not want to be judged for the things I do. I want you to trust me and let me do what I feel is right. Which is why I said I wanted to meet you, said Celia. You need trust to love, but first you need to love in order to trust. To love someone is to understand each other, to laugh together, to smile with your heart, and to trust one another. Although we are far from each other, but our heart is closer to each other, and I believe that distance won't be a barrier to the affection that we have for each other. It's a matter of time. We'll be together, and probably forever, because my heart treasures you so much. Are you just going to write long sentences of fluff, said Celia, making sure to keep it YouTube friendly, or shall we have a conversation, because I'm going to go and have a shower. When did you last speak to your son? Said a newly showered Celia. I only received email from the school 2 weeks ago, he said. That was when I was planning to take him back to the state. Oh dear, said Celia. Can't you speak to him? Yes, he said. We speaks on weekends. So why haven't you spoken to him in the last 2 weeks? She asked. I emailed him, but he haven't replied to me, he said. Maybe he's busy or something. And you haven't phoned the school to see if he's all right, said Celia. What kind of father are you? I was waiting for him to reply. If he doesn't by 12, I'll send email to the school. You waited 2 weeks for a reply, said Celia, and you're only now going to email the school. You really aren't a very nice person, are you? Sometimes he always replies me late, he said rather lamely. You told me you spoke to him every weekend. Now you say you email him. I emailed him today, he tried. You don't even know when you last spoke to your own son, do you? 3 weeks ago, he said. That was when I spoke to him last. You've got to be kidding me, said Celia. You last spoke to your own son 3 weeks ago, and you haven't even bothered to contact the school to ask why you haven't heard from him since. I can't believe what I'm reading. That poor boy. He just replied to me now, he said. I suggest you phone him right now, said Celia. You're not allowed to make voice calls while we're still in the rig, due to security reasons, he said. So I only emailed him. Don't be ridiculous, said Celia. It's an oil rig, not a maximum security prison. You told me you speak to him every weekend. Was that a lie? I only contact him with email, he said. Those are the reasons why I have to get retired and have time for my son. So why did you tell me you spoke to him every weekend, said Celia. Were you lying to impress me? Because you aren't impressing me. What did your son say? She asked. He's asking if he will still be going to the state by tomorrow as we planned. By tomorrow? Said Celia. It's his bedtime, you dimwit. If you haven't changed his plans now, you'd better get off that bloody oil rig and take him to the States tomorrow. I presume you'll be collecting him from school. Dear, he said, I can't leave the rig now, so I'll have to change the plan. Well, it's a bit late to realise that, isn't it? Said Celia. You really are one of the most dreadful fathers I've ever met. Children are a gift, not a parcel you can push around and abandon when it suits you. You shouldn't blame me for that, dear, he said. It's due to the nature of my job, but I'm happy I have you in my life. Rubbish, said Celia. Your son is your top priority. Your job comes second. Don't make excuses. I believe you'll make a good mother to my son, he said. He certainly needs someone who actually loves him and cares about him, said Celia, because you clearly don't. I do love my son. You like to speak with him? He asked. You have a funny way of showing it, she said. He's welcome to call me if he wants to. I will have to tell him about you first, he said. I'm sure Kelvin will be very excited if he hears that he's going to have a mother again. My poor boy has really missed the love of a mother so much. That's another common scammer tactic, getting their supposed child to email you, and usually telling you how excited they are to have a new mother in their life. I'm sure I told you we need to meet before I can make a commitment, said Celia. Your poor boy has missed the love of a father. Your love, the only person he has in the world. Those are the reasons for me getting retired, he said. Oh no, said Celia. Those are the reasons we have to meet. You don't have to be retired to care about your son, to contact him regularly, to speak to the school. For God's sake, you didn't even know which school he was at until I made you find out. And then a man in Dublin thought he'd ask our woman in Durham, in England, what time is it over there? You are kidding me, right? Said Celia. If you want this relationship to work, you have to get your ass off that rig and come to Durham ASAP so we can meet. Dear, he said, it's a contract I signed for, and I must have to complete my job. In that case, said Celia, I think our relationship is over. What time is it over there? What time do you think it is? Time here is 21:59, he said. Oh, good, said Celia. I thought maybe you'd strayed into a time warp somewhere in the Irish Sea. Then our man started to realise that his potential victim was slipping from his grasp, so he thought perhaps he'd better change tack. If you want me to come, you will have to contact the company that you needs your husband vacation, he tried. My husband is dead, said Celia. I told you that. That will be the only excuse for me to leave the rig and come to Durham, he said. Yes, I know about your husband is dead. Then our relationship is over. Goodbye, said Celia, and I'm sure you can apply for your own vacation. If the company received email from you representing my wife, it will make it easier for me. Why are you so angry? I will not lie to your company, said Celia. Why am I so angry? Do you really need me to spell it out? Are you really that stupid? You're a grown man. I'm quite sure you can email the HR office yourself and ask for leave. I manage it on my own. Let's talk about this tomorrow, he said. I think that's a good idea, said Celia. Good night. Celia was back at lunchtime the next day. She said, I'm having a lunch break. Have you worked out how to get off the rig yet? No, dear, he said. I can't leave the rig now. I have to complete my job. Want you to be a lot patient. Not going to happen, said Celia. I assume you allowed your son to fly to the States on his own, to be met by someone he doesn't even know. I told you that I've changed my plan, he said. I hope you remembered to tell your son before he left for the airport, said Celia. Yes, I have told him since yesterday, he said. I told him that by the end of this month I will be coming over to meet him. Oh, good, said Celia. Father goes to school to visit his own son. How amazing. Are you getting the impression that Celia was fed up with him by then? Our man apparently had trouble grasping that idea. So, how is work today? He asked. Fine, said Celia. And if you aren't going to leave your rig, I told you our relationship is over. Why are you in a hurry to meet me? He said. Because I'm not at all happy with the way you treat your son, because I've told you clearly I can't make a commitment until I've met you, but still you go on and on and on about how you want me to be your wife and your son's mother, blah, blah, blah. I either need to meet you or you need to go away. I'm tired of all your talk. I have to go back to work. Talk to you later, he said. The decision is yours, said Celia. I can come to Dublin to meet you, or you can come here, but I'm not interested if you won't do either of those. OK, he said. I will think about your coming. Let's talk about this later in the evening. Let me go back to work, said our weary scammer. He came back a few hours later with that old scammer favourite. What are you doing now? Waiting for you to tell me what you've decided to do, said Celia. What are you doing? I really want to settle down in life. I'm willing to do anything for our relationship, he said. So it's very difficult for me to leave. So I'm planning of resigning. OK, said Celia. But I stick with what I said. I can't commit until I've met you. I'm sure your son will be very happy to be able to see his dad, said Celia. Yes, definitely. And I have also missed my son a lot, he said. Now I can take full responsibility of a father. All thanks to God for bringing you into my life. I'm sure you won't regret it, said Celia. I have nothing to regret, my dear, he said. I have made a lot of money that can sustain me for life, and even my 4th generation. If you know Mendelssohn's Elijah, I'm sure you're singing along at this point. Chorus number 5. Yet doth the Lord see it not. You know the bit I mean. For he, the Lord our God, he is a jealous God, and he visiteth all the fathers' sins on the children to the 3rd and the 4th generation of them that hate him. Celia's obsession with choral music sated. We'll move on with the story. I'm back to that most time-honoured obsession of all scammers. "Have you taken your dinner?" "Yes," said Celia. "Have you?" "Not yet," he said. "I'm busy with my computer." "Dear," he asked, "can you help me get a $100 Google Play card? I want to use it to update my AutoCAD." "I'm sure you can do that if you log into your online bank account," said Celia. "No, dear," he said. "Or just charge it to company expenses," said Celia. "No, dear," he said. "Try and understand me. I'm leaving this place sooner, and the company has nothing to do with that. I'm the one who's going to use it." "Are you telling me you don't know how to log into your bank?" asked Celia. "I left my credit card back in the State," he tried, "and I'm not able to log into my account here in the rig. I can access my account here." "How did you pay for your son's flight to the States then?" asked Celia. "Fresh air, and of course you can log into your account on the rig." That scammer tried another of those time-honoured scam lines. "I don't have access to my account right now." "Don't talk rubbish," said Celia. "You had access to book your son's flight. Just wait till you're off the rig and log in when you're on land." "No, dear," he said. "He already has the tickets on hold for a long time." "Yes, I will, but I need this card. Dear, just help me do this. I promise to pay you back with interest once I come home." "No, you don't," said Celia. "I'm sure you can wait. Don't be impatient." "You mean you can't help me get the card?" asked our man. And just like that, Celia ghosted him. 10 minutes later, "Why are you silent? Can't you send me a card of just $100? Seriously?" And then our man disappeared. I wonder if he'll come back, but I think he got the point. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like it, please share it, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.